and good morning. This is a wonderful day. And so, as usual, first thing I want to ask before we get started is that we have a word of prayer. If everyone will bow their heads. Heavenly Father God, we come before you. Oh, just thanking you, Lord, for everything that you've done for us, for giving us an opportunity to make today a new day, because each and every day gives us another chance to do it right, to glorify your name and to do your will. Oh, Heavenly Father, we ask that you bless the ones that are here, bless the ones who are not here, bless the ones who are sick and infirm. They need us most, oh Lord, that you carry all of us through, holding us in your bosom, showering your love on us as we know that only you can do, that you continue to hold us in your grace, mercy, and favor, and that you guide our minds, our hearts, and our souls as we continue to move forward this great city. All of this we ask in your Son's Jesus' name. Amen. First of all, thank you for coming, because those of you who are here are making it a little bit warmer than it was just maybe about 15 minutes ago. So hopefully we'll get some more people. So let me speak first on the issue of climate control. Climate control has been a very unique issue to deal with here in this building, which I discovered on May 14th, 2019. And as far as trying to figure out how to keep it cool in the summer, how to keep it warm in the winter. This is not an old HVAC system that we have here. This is a dinosaur age HVAC system that we have here. So I think if not twice, 3 times a week, somebody has to come out and fix something. It's around Christmas time, so I'm always doing movie references and stuff like that. So there's this movie called Christmas Story with Ralphie, a little boy, and his daddy goes down in the basement. He always has to kick the furnace, and you hear him down in the basement cursing at the furnace. That's how our HVAC system is, for those who can relate. So every single day. So today is the temperature that we get, and tomorrow you could walk in here and it would be 102 degrees. And the thing about it is, people, well, it's really simple. When I hear people say, well, why don't you just, that makes me know that they're going to give a very simple solution to a complex problem. Why don't you just turn up the thermostat? Does anybody, where is the thermostat?
We have no thermostat control.
We have no temperature control here. So, the bright minds say, well, I just turned the thermostat. No, it's not that simple. Don't you think I would have already did that if it was just that easy? But speaking of things that I would have already done, because I've gotten a lot of questions, and I feel like I'm on a comedy show. Things that I've already gotten done, there's a lot of questions that I've gotten over the past month, actually 2 months, asking me about simple things. Simple solutions to complex problems. Like, why didn't you get that garbage up over on such so-and-so street? And why didn't you fill that pothole over there? So my new answer is going to be, I'm thinking about getting a shirt made. If it was that simple, don't you think I would have already done it? Because I, once again, have been here for so many years. Most people know how long I've been here now. Bottom line is, I more than likely have ridden over that pothole. I saw that tree. I saw that abandoned house. I saw that grass that was this tall. All of that stuff I've experienced. So the simple things that you think that may be so simple, sometimes are not as simple. Because if they really honestly were that simple, I would have already done it. Because the simple fact is, I personally, let's just say I was the only person in the world, I don't like living around it. So, and I'm not in a position to actually try to do something about it. So I would have already gotten rid of it. But the thing about it is, one thing that I've learned since I've been in this position is government sucks. Bottom line, that's the only way for me to put it. Because it seems like the simplest things to do take the longest times to get done. I think I gave the example last meeting about ordering a pen. A pen that you could go to Walgreens and get. In government, you got to fill out a form, give the form to somebody, who gives the form to somebody else, who scans it, sends it through email. Eventually that person calls somebody who gets to the people who's supposed to get the pens, who order it from the place who actually sells the pens. Doesn't make any sense at all, but that's how government works. So I'm blessed, before I go into this, I'm blessed again, of course, to see all of you. I do want to, in advance, take the time to, we won't have another one of these until when?
February, first Saturday in February.
February something. First Saturday in February. So hopefully I'll see some of you before then. But if I don't, please have a Merry Christmas, Happy Holiday. Be safe. I'm gonna be praying for every last one of y'all. I swear. I really love you. I thank you for everything that you've done. And for those, the supporters and the complainers, I love each and every last one of you. So thank you. I'm going to be actually faster today than normal because I have to leave. One of the things I'm trying to do today is I have a meeting with our Congresswoman. I've been trying to stay in touch with our Congresswoman, Robin Kelly, since I took this office. So we have a meeting today that came up like in the middle of the week when we found out about it. So it's gonna kind of cut this short, but we got great things going on. So, because our police chief is going to speak on some issues as well. And he's gonna present to you some of the facts, I guess to help the fiction, is that how you do it? So hopefully you will enjoy that. Last time we were here, we talked about municipal bonds. So here it is. First person to answer the question right gets a whole new thing of sugar. Does anybody remember what municipal bonds are? Anyone? Municipal bonds. What are they? Okay, close. Anyone? Know what a municipal bond is? What'd you say? It's a loan. A municipal bond? You know what? We can get something else there. Find something else for a napkin, fresh napkin, something like that. Yes, it is a loan. It's a loan that a city takes out to do the work that it needs to do for projects such as streets, capital projects, lights, things of that nature. And that one of the reasons why we weren't able to get those loans is because basically the credit condition that we're in. So I likened it to basically, regular credit score. You got a bad credit score, can't get a loan. Good credit score, can get a loan. So if we can't get loans, that kind of equates to what? Bad credit score. So that's where we are right now. So it makes it a little more difficult for us to do what it is that we need to do. So even though we knew that was the case, the question was, what do we do now? Okay, if you know you ain't got no money, you still got to eat, right? Still got to try to figure out a way to get it done. So we must use what we have. And that's what we've been trying to do over the past 6 to 7 months, is use what we have to do the best we can to provide you as much as we possibly can. So some of the things we've been able to do is board up abandoned houses. Of course, we've been boarding up abandoned houses in every ward. That else to you, right? In every ward, we've been boarding up houses, and we're going to continue to try to do more. Well, we haven't gotten the snow really, even though it's now getting colder, but we're trying to get as many as we possibly can. If you see any one of these abandoned houses, please call the police. And for those naysayers out there that want to say, I call them and they don't never show up. I don't care. I'm telling you, I told you last time I don't care. Call them again. If it's important, isn't it worth making a phone call again? Isn't it worth calling them as many times as you have to, if it is important? Okay, so until we get it together. And then keep calling them, and then come to me and fuss me out. Okay, but fuss me out after you've called them again and again and again until you get what you need. Okay, and then fuss me out later. And then I'll promise you, I'll go fuss some other people out on your behalf to make sure that your voice is heard, because that's really what it's about. But please, if you see someone, especially in one of these buildings, that's not supposed to be here, please call the police, because we want to try to enforce this as much as possible. We're going to need everybody's assistance to do so. Okay, that's something that we want to do. Demolishing buildings. Our biggest thing right now, I think most of you have seen this by now, 159th and Park. That's how it used to look, and that's how it looks now. So, the Cook County Sheriff's Renew program really helped to pull that off. We're actually well, we're supposed to be moving to another building. But once again, I told y'all about how government works. So we're going to another building. We're kind of in a race against the weather. So we don't know. If the weather acts the way we want it to act, we may be able to get the next building before the end of the season. If not, then it'll be the first thing that we're doing next season. So we'll have to see. Remove of fly dumping. This is picture was sent to me by Alderman. It was horrible. But we were able to, there it is. We were able to get it cleaned up. I'm going to continue to try to do some fly dumping. All I can say is, if you see somebody, please say something, because this costs us, what we spend, like $20 a month?
$20,000.
Yeah, $20,000 a month on dumping. Okay, it's a lot of dumping. It's a lot of money, and that's a lot of money that can go toward actually doing the other things that you want to have done. Still trying to figure out ways to catch, the fly dumpers. Trying to figure out a way to get them. But until we do, any help that you can give is greatly appreciated. Building relationships, which is, as I mentioned, I'm getting ready to go to a meeting shortly. Another thing we did was restricted liquor sales to midnight. I think that has made a significant impact so far. If anybody's been out after midnight, you'll see that the streets are clear, the traffic is slow, the traffic patterns have changed. Of course, it's and when I say traffic, I mean specifically vehicular traffic. For the people traffic, that's slowed down as well. I'm going to say this much as far as what I've seen so far. It took place November 1st, and that's when it started. And of course, there are some who want to say, well, no, forget what they said. Let me tell you what I'm saying. Okay? I'm not saying that by restricting sales to midnight, it's going to cure all crime in the world. I never said that. Okay? I'm saying that we are taking a comprehensive approach to crime. Now, I'm looking, just scanning. Okay. And y'all, just about everybody in here is an old face. Okay? Y'all know that there are certain places where people hang out, okay? Certain places that make you feel unsafe, okay? There are certain places that you won't go because of the people who are hanging out. And there are certain places that are engaged in some nefarious activities, even though you may not be able to prove it, okay? So, a comprehensive approach to crime, as far as I'm concerned, my experts over there, but as a mayor, is to try to attack it from every front, okay? Why do you call about that abandoned house that's next door to you? It's probably, there may not be anybody in there that's committing any crime at this particular point in time, but you want it gone because you don't want the possibility of crime coming there, right? Okay, so you want us to stop that. We know that, at least from what I was experiencing, from between midnight and 5 o'clock in the morning, we were getting a variety of calls on every level to the police department regarding issues, and it was usually some type of either, one, it was alcohol involved. If it wasn't alcohol involved, it was somewhere around a club, a liquor store, a gas station that was selling liquor. Okay? So we had to calm it down. Calmed it down. From what I've gotten so far, because there was a report, and the chief is going to discuss this a little bit more, there was a report on the Chicago Tribune talking about crime has risen this year. And the easy way for me to handle that was be like, it's not mine, so I don't want it. No, that's not it. I'm embracing all of it. Even the stuff that didn't belong to me, I'm still embracing that too. But what I can tell you is, we were slated to do about between 1.5 to 2 homicides per month. Okay, we made it through November to the 25th. That's what we did. Now, if we were slated to do half, do 2, then that's 1 every 15 days. We made it to the 25th. My hope is that in December, we make it through the entire month. Okay, so party in peace, everybody. And when January comes, we continue to do the same thing. But I never said, and I'm not saying, I don't want to give anybody any false sense, and I'm saying that stopping liquor sales at midnight is going to eradicate all crime. Now there's 3 things, and if anybody has a pen, please write these down. Because there's 3 things that I want to accomplish. Whether it's this, or whether it's any other action that basically comes from the mayor's office. There's 3 things that I want to accomplish. First, I want to refocus our scarce resources. But when we go back to this, anyone? We must use what we have. The first thing when you have to use what you have is you have to refocus your scarce resources. Okay? That's why Grandma used to make quilts, because she could take those old clothes and refocus them or repurpose them and make it into something to keep you warm. In this particular case, we are refocusing our scarce resources. So that's the very first thing that I'm trying to do, to help us survive in this lean time until we get to better days. The second thing that I'm trying to do is to create better health and safety for the residents of Harvey and the people who visit the city of Harvey. Better health and safety for the residents of Harvey and the people who visit the city of Harvey. And then the third thing I'm trying to do is to change the overall negative perception of the city of Harvey. 3 things. 1, refocus scarce resources. 2, improve the health and safety for the residents and visitors. And 3, anybody? Change the perception. Now that really is simple. As I was talking about complex, answers, simple answers to complex problems. That's what I'm trying to do. So when you see things come out of the mayor's office, you don't have to, why is he doing this? You don't have to ask yourself that. I'm giving you the answer right now. That's what we're trying to do. There were some restaurants that were, if that's what you want to call them, restaurant places, eating places, that were shut down. People got upset because some of those places got shut down. Because instead of allowing people to eat garbage, the decision was made that garbage is no longer acceptable for you. That you should be able to live and you should be able to eat in establishments that are clean. Okay? Where, you see up front, but you don't ever get to see what's going on in the back. So the whole purpose of your city being here is to find out what's going on in the back. And when we went in the back, Lord Jesus. That's all I'll say. When we went in the battle. And so some of those places were shut down. Now the one thing that you can know now is if they're open back up, their behavior is different. They couldn't open back up until they got cleaned up and straightened up. But you shouldn't have to eat garbage. And just for those, once again, just so you know, it's the same garbage I've been eating for the past 50 years too. Okay? Because I went to all those places and some of that food, was really good, honestly. It was good. And it wasn't until I actually found out what I was eating that I stopped eating it. But those places that are open, yeah, okay. But those places that are not, they are down for a reason. And honestly, to tell you the truth, I know you might have went there, your mama might have went there, your grandma might have went there, but the bottom line is, they needed to be closed. Once again, 3 things. 3 things. Refocus scarce resources. Improve the health and safety of the people in the city of Harvey and the visitors, and to change the perception of the city. That's it. So that's what we're trying to do. But we have to use what we have, and in order for us to use those things, and to use those things effectively and efficiently, we have to start to focus on those 3 things. That's what we're trying to do. We're leveraging resources. Okay? So if I have, maybe it's a 3.5 or something like that, 3A, you leverage resources. So you start to go out to friends, and you start to say to them, hey, look, I need some help getting this building down. And that's why we were able to get it down, because through a collaboration with the Cook County Sheriff's Office, we were able to pull that off. Could we have done this by ourselves? I guess we could have done it by ourselves. But I'll tell you what that equates to. That equates to you saying, well, I don't have a lot of money. So what I'm going to do, but I want to really feel good about myself. So I'm going to go buy the Cadillac so I can feel good about myself, and I won't have any other money to pay any other bills. We know some people like that too, don't we? Or they go on a vacation, it's the vacation that really is. But the simple fact is, so you have to do it, and you have to do it responsibly. And speaking of responsibility, let's go to the lights real quick. Okay? Because there's been some questions about where are the lights, why aren't the lights open on, why haven't you gotten to the lights yet? You said that you was going to have lights before this, that, another day, before my birthday. We actually planned a celebration around the fact that you were going to have the lights, and you don't have the lights yet. I've always been extremely honest with all of you. And so the first question that comes to me is, really? 7 months? No lights? Y'all expect for the lights to just come on by themselves? Now, we're not children in here. We know, like my children never been able to find out that the lights just don't come on because you flick the switch. Okay? We know that it's more to lights than that. But people are paying the bills. But people want to know, why aren't the lights on? Okay? But that goes to responsibility. Now, by show of hands, who would like for me to take all of our money, everything that we have, and put every dime that we have toward lights, but with the understanding that if you don't get anything else, you'll have lights? Because if that's what you want, on the souls of my grandchildren, that's what I will do. Because I work for you. I work for you. But I live on a dark street too. Like I said, everything you go through, I go through. So you have to do it, but you have to do it responsibly. So I can't, give away the whole farm, and then we don't have no milk. No eggs, no cheese, no bacon, none of that good stuff. We have nothing. So I have to be responsible. You didn't just elect me to get you things and to put Kool-Aid in every water fountain and have ice cream for lunch every day. You hired me so that I could be responsible, so that I could, in a responsible, methodical, and strategic way, I can get these things done. At least that's why I think you hired me. You could have hired me because of my good looks too. Clap for the good looks. But the simple fact is, and that's what we're doing. So when people ask the question, with the lights cost money. If it was just as simple as changing a bulb, I would have changed the bulbs myself. Literally, gotten on the cherry picker and got up there, and you know I can get on the cherry picker. Okay, would have got up there, had my personal protective equipment, OSHA compliant, and got up there and changed the bulbs myself. It's not that simple. Many of these lights have not been maintained, and you know that the lights have not been maintained over the years because you saw this one go out and it never came back on. And then you saw this one go out and it never came back on. And then you saw this stoplight go out and it never came back on. And what took the place of the stoplight? A stop sign. You saw these things. I know you did, because you were here. We were all here together. So it's not just as simple as saying, oh, you know, just turn up. This ain't a Christmas light. These are street lights. It's stuff underground that have to be, in some cases, that have to be repaired. Things are happening. But if it was just as simple to do it, it would have already been done. But so those things cost money. And unfortunately, everything in government costs a lot of money. You remember when I was coming up, there was this like $500 hammer. Anybody remember that, the $600 toilet seat? And you'd be like, why is the military paying $500 for a hammer? Stuff in government costs so much money. It is unbelievable. You know, now those are things, and those are national things that I can't really address at this particular point in time. But yeah, it's not just as simple as go fix the bulb or go change, you know, reconnect whatever was underground that's messed up. It costs a lot of money to do. So until that time, I'm going to be responsible. But the one thing that I can guarantee you is that it will be addressed, and I will continue to work on it. Were you going to ask a question?
Yeah, I was going to have a solution. Actually, and I was talking to my alderman the other day about it. Isn't the poles, some of these light poles belong to ComEd and not the city of Harvey, correct? Can we distinguish which ones? Because I was talking to my alderman, he did, and I forgot already, but blame it on my age, I'm hard.
It's okay.
The difference is it the wooden poles that belongs to ComEd and the metal ones that belongs to Harvey?
Yes.
So when we have the wooden pole lights out, we need to be calling ComEd
Amen.
to come out and get those on. And I've done that before, several times. I've had ComEd to come out, found out it was ComEd's pole, and so we got lights. So
Right.
that's one way of, if you're not for sure, call ComEd, tell them where it's at. And they'll ask you, is it a wooden pole or a metal? And you tell them what kind it is, and they'll tell you if it's theirs, and they're gonna send someone right out, or if it's the city of Harvey, you need to contact her. That's just a solution.
And that is
Some lights.
fantastic. And first of all, thank you
You're very welcome.
so much. Thank you. So yes, so if it's a wooden pole, if it is a wooden pole, it is a ComEd pole. If it is a metal pole, it's somebody else's. Not necessarily cities, and I'm going to explain that.
Okay.
But if it's a wooden pole, you can call ComEd. You can also go online and you can actually report it online. They have a little section in ComEd where you can actually click on and actually, and if you, even if you don't know the exact address, if you give them the vicinity of the area where the pole is, you can get it repaired that way. Some of the, now the other poles, the non-wood poles, those vary as far as ownership is concerned. I'll tell you, I'd probably say 99.9% of them are owned by the city. So even if, because I saw this question too, well, so-and-so's a state road, whatever road it is. You know, so shouldn't the state be taking care of that? I'm not going to throw the state under the bus and say that they should, because that's not true. We entered into agreements when those roads were built to maintain those poles. So that's our responsibility, even though it may be a state road. So a state truck or coming down here, we don't have any county roads in here, do we? Which one is a county?
167, right off between Center and.
Oh, yeah, right, on the east side. Right, okay. But most of them are state roads. And you'll see the state plow come through, and you're saying to yourself, well, okay, well, the state can go ahead and fix the lights too. No, the lights belong to us. And that's the easy part of it. So we're working on getting those fixed as well, along with a lot of other things. Let me get moving before I... Did I stop the thing from working? It don't like me no more? I guess it doesn't. I don't know what I did. I started grabbing stuff and stuff like that, and I put my hand on it and it just... So, but fortunately, where there's a problem, I know how to fix it. So, the other thing is, anybody saw our new website? Have you gone to the new website? Those who have the ability to do so on their phone, would you go there now? City of Harvey, il.gov. Does the .org send you back, or does it give you a 404?
It's still, the .org still works.
Okay. So if you go to cityofharvey.org, you can get to it that way, and it'll redirect you, or you can go to cityofharvey.il.gov, and that's the website as well. Oh, there's Mississippi back there, everybody. Okay, that's right. Come on back up here, Mississippi. So I was telling them how you were getting beat up. Say what?
It's such a nice picture.
What picture is this? Oh, from when I was like 12? Yeah, I was like 12 at that time. Yeah. So, the new website, for those of you that can see it right now as I'm restarting this computer, there is a function on there that says report a problem. Okay? Report a problem. And if you click on that, it will take you to a form where you can report a particular problem or issue. Now, right now, we have it split into different categories that you can select. If there is a category that is not listed, you can click Other. So you can click Other. When you click Other, it'll ask you for a description of that, what that other is. And please fill that out, because if we see a lot of the same type of others descriptions, then we'll create another category for that. Okay. Also, and I'm going to do. Oh, isn't that nice, sir? Oh, mighty nice. Look at you. Can you put it? No, can you?
Yes, you can.
Where's the on this side? Thank you so much. Oh, there we go. Fantastic. So this is the report of concern page here. So as you can see, what they're asking for is just your address or the closest area that's next to it. Of course, you put in it. Once you do that, if it'll actually pull it. Let's just go, for instance. Let me see. Yeah, so it'll auto-populate. Once you get somewhere close to that address, it will auto-populate for you. So once you do that, you don't even have to type it anymore. You just click on it, and it'll automatically fill in the rest. Got it so far? Okay, great, fantastic. So once you do that, still looking for the place. I don't know how to work this computer. I don't know how to work this computer. Oh, there we go. Put your description of the location. So once again, if it's a vacant field, then put it's a vacant field. If it's a home, then put it's a home. If it's a building, you know, commercial building or something like that, give us an idea of what it is that you're talking about. Please, because I love you, and this is said in love, don't put it's over there. We don't know what it is. We don't know where there is. We talk like that to each other, and that's okay, because we have certain, you know, cues that come along with that. But when you're reading it, you cannot tell at all. And the whole point is to help to get whatever issue it is resolved. So when you go to the type, it'll give you a variety: abandoned vehicle on property, animal bite, animal carcass, animal cruelty, clogged storm drain, commercial vehicle on private property. It'll give you a list of different issues that you can deal with. So let's just, which one goes to Rick Savage? Let me see. Dead Father Trail Street, that goes to Rick Savage. Okay, so I put that in, there's no other. I'm gonna type in, you know what I'm saying, Dead Street and 157, and once I do that, I submit it. What it does is it does just that, and I know it does because I used it the other day, and myself, and I sent some stuff out, and actually it did. It went directly to what was supposed to go to Mr. Seven. It went directly to him. He was able to receive it, and he was able to get it done. And what will happen on your end, on the back end, and this is another thing that I'm going to ask for us to do. One is, please use it, because what it does is it helps us to track our effectiveness and our efficiency, so we'll know if we are performing better over time. Okay. When we came into this position, we had no information. There were no benchmarks in place to say we had been doing this way and we were getting this result. So it's really difficult to tell how you can improve if you have nothing, you know, to use as a benchmark for your performance. So we want to be able to get a benchmark of performance, and then we want to try to improve that. So one, please use it. Two, when you use it, please provide your information. Okay, that's important too, because did I turn it off or did you turn it off? What happened? Okay, you can have this back. No, I'm done with that. Please provide your information, including your email, because if you provide your email address, besides the fact that you may win a 5-pound bag of sugar, you will also get an email back to you letting you know. You will get a reference number, so that way when we're talking to each other, you can say, hey, look, I've called about this tree, you know, or I reported this tree. So that somebody can actually answer you in a competent manner and say, okay, ma'am, sir, what is your reference number? Okay. So you can tell them, and they can quickly identify you, and then they can begin to find out what exactly was the problem. Was there an issue as far as the tree is concerned? Was it located on a line? Was it on private property? What the issue was help to help you. But if we don't have the information, then helping you is going to be a little more difficult. And I don't say that to any of you, because all of you are reasonable, capable people. I say that to the ones that will be calling and will be irate because they did not get what they want. Okay. But you'll do these things because I know that you want to help to make the city of Harvey a better place, and this is one of the things that you can do to actually pull that off. And it's a good service. Okay, I'm running. Yes.
Mayor,
A
with all
question.
due respect, I just feel like the people of Harvey, the residents, they deserve better answers. I mean, anybody in their right mind know that it doesn't take a whole budget to get the lights on. For example, and you're saying that you have all these abandoned properties and whatnot, I think it would be helpful, and maybe you already have this, I don't know, to develop a list of these properties and prioritize based on hazard or some type of criteria. That would be helpful for us to go on and say, okay, well, here's my abandoned house on my block, it's 5th on the list, or it's 100 down on the list, and that will temper the expectations of the residents as well. And the other question I had was, how are you measuring success with these 3 objectives that you have? What is your measurement of success for these?
Thank you so much, I appreciate that. So, first, to the very first question. There's still a lot of information that we're compiling. So like, for instance, as far as the houses are concerned, or properties, we still don't know what properties we own, or what we don't own. We don't know, we found that there are some properties that have problems with title on them. We've also found out that there's rental properties that that the city has. The one thing that we can't do, and we don't want to do, is to make a mistake. So specifically when it comes to properties. So we have a certain business right now, and I can't say which business because it'll give it away like that. That we were supposed to handle this week. We found out that we needed to give them some additional notice, you know, because even though it technically is our property, there's some people there, and so we have to do some additional things. So we're still finding out. So I've had a lot of people say exactly what you just said in that regard to the first part of the question. But we don't know everything that we need to know so far. So it's difficult to communicate it to the people if we don't have the information ourselves.
Well, it doesn't take eyes to see that this is abandoned. I mean, definitely there could be an inventory of abandoned houses and then some prioritization being done where you can see, okay, this house is last or this house is first. I don't think that that's difficult to do,
Well,
or maybe I'm missing something, I don't know.
yeah. I think that may be the case. I'm not 100% sure. Because once again, refocusing the scarce resources. 2, health and safety, and 3 is changing the perception. So, where are the resources that we have? Now, we're spending time right now just trying to make payroll for the few people that we have. So we're spending time just trying to make the money just to make the payroll. And how much more month do you have at the end of the month? So we can say, for instance, the lights. Okay, well, we want to turn the lights on because it doesn't take a whole budget to turn on the lights. It doesn't take a whole budget to turn on the lights. But you found me the money after payroll to get it done, I'd love to do it.
I understand.
Right, but we're just working to try to make the payroll.
Right, but what I'm saying is like you can maybe start one light at a time is what I'm saying. Maybe you could retrofit a light for solar power instead of, you know, things like this. I mean, creative solutions here. I thought this was a solutions meeting. I haven't heard the residents say, give any input.
Actually, we got her right there. She did a great job. But I do understand exactly what you're saying. And so therefore, we want solutions.
Because some of these residents might have some great ideas to help you move the city forward.
Can I help that, Mayor?
What was that?
Can I help that?
Help!
Help! My name is Marshall Ralph. Good morning, everybody. Happy holidays. I live across the street from Ingalls Hospital, and adjacent to my home are vacant property. I can't speak on homes, but I can speak on vacant land. My wife and I had looked into trying to acquire the vacant land. So we went to Thornton Township. They gave us the PIN numbers and everything, but we had to call Cook County tax assessors and all that stuff downtown Chicago. So we had to drive all the way downtown, get the printouts of the PIN numbers, and the vacant land is back taxes. The owners have stopped paying on it. There's 2 lots next to each other. The total amount is like $14,000, $7,000 for each. And so, we contacted, we had to go to the, title company, write a letter to the owners. They don't even care about the land anymore. Come to find out, the land has been in a trust since 1988. They stopped paying on it back in 2010. They don't even care about it anymore. So they contacted, we had to write a letter, give our names, telephone numbers, and out of the blue, the owners contacted us. And they said, well, we suggest that you, talk to Cook County about the property. We don't want anything to do with it. But because it's in a trust, the county can't do anything with it, and we can't even pay taxes on it, because even if you pay taxes on it, they still own it because it's in a trust. So it's kind of a catch-22 thing going on.
Right, but see, that's one of the solutions that the city can do, have some, because I've seen it in Chicago and other
Yeah.
areas, where you can buy the property that's adjacent to your
Right,
home
right.
for $1 and start paying the taxes on it.
Right.
Let's do stuff
That's
like
why,
this,
that's why I
that's
took
a
the
start.
initiative to try to do, to look into this.
Well, you can
also,
take the
but-
initiative, but the bottom line is the property still is there and it's not owned by you.
Right, but it's not even-
Still in the same boat.
Right, it's still in the
And
trust.
you went through all these journeys. I'm sorry, I don't want to
No.
hijack the meeting.
But,
No, no, you are bringing very good points, and I want to get those points answered and addressed. First of all, you, and then,
When you say it's in trust, is that in a trust with a bank or a financial?
Only thing I know is Chicago Title Company, the owner has passed away. It's been in the trust since 1988, the owner has passed away, the beneficiary.
It's in a trust for the family?
Right,
Okay.
right, and it's 5 lots in this trust. It's 2 next to me, but there's 3 additional ones, so it's a total of 5 lots.
But would there have to be an executive on the trust? Because I know some property like that. on
Well,
the
this
side
sounds
of the
like a
state.
personal issue.
right, we want to kind of keep it more so to Harvey. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, good morning. My name is Chelsea Hill with Sia, and I don't know if you guys know that we've been working, in trying to look at how to improve the city parking and stuff. So Sia recently got a grant from Robin Hood Foundation. And you may have to fly over and get some out, it's called Gauge Parking. Basically what we're doing is we're spending the next 9 months collecting data to try to find out from you guys what's going on in the city parking. We then will present that information to you, and then the foundation will allow us to have a grant of $1.2 million to improve it, based on what you tell us. So what we really want to do is look at what you guys think is important. It's extremely important that you follow up with us and meet with us and talk about some of the problems we're seeing in Harvey, and then we will be able to work with the mayor, who has been so gracious to work with us with this grant, to look at how to improve water. And really, it is not what Cedar City has done, it's not what the mayor has, it's not what anybody, what you guys decide is important for the city. We work with the mayor to be able to launch this. We are very excited. We only have until the end of January to select data. Just in focus groups, then we will sit down with you to get a big meeting based on your response. The grant was to start, this grant has to be presented by August. It starts August of next year, and it's a 3-year grant. So we want to make sure that if there is a city that is the priority that would improve the lives of residents, especially low-income residents, this grant is good for that. So it's extremely important that you take advantage of it. I know Mary was going to talk about it later, but I thought it was just a good place.
No,
Can
that's
you
that's
post
good.
this on the Facebook website?
Absolutely.
And how can you guarantee that it's just Harvey citizens?
So it has to be,
answering
it has to be our system. So there is when you call us, we do an assessment with you. We do require an application. This is approval of law. There is it's designed in Harvey. It is only Harvey, right? It's not Dawson, any other place. It's only Harvey. And then we just get that data from them. We sit down with them, they do a focus group, it's meeting about an hour and a half each group, sometimes 2. And then we will present that information to you based on what we've heard from residents. And then we will tell you what the data tells us based on that, and what the data tells us in large impact. We We are working with multiple foundations on this. Robin, will you just okay?
Hold on, no, hold on. I'm going over here first. Let me control it with you, please.
You know, I want to say, as a resident, when I saw the abandoned house, it was.
I can't hear her.
You can't speak. He says he can't hear you.
When I saw, as a resident, before I got involved in Honolulu, my neighbor had an abandoned house. It was flooded, it was horrible. And I thought it was because Harvey didn't care. And that was probably one of the reasons why I decided to run, to make sure that my neighborhood first, I was thinking of me at first, was going to be next. Then I expanded to the whole ward. And wow, I saw all of it. I saw these broken up buildings, I saw the fields. Well, I got educated really quick. That abandoned home belonged to somebody, but not the city. So that's what we need to keep in mind. When we have an abandoned home next door to us, it's not the city. It could be the bank, it could be in a trust. They can't get rid of that property. It's locked up in the trust. So the executor will have to go to court, and all that costs money. So when we look at things, it's not as simple as Harvey doesn't care. Because I can tell you, I wouldn't be doing this if I felt Harvey didn't care. Look around, we all care. So we gotta figure out what can we do and send a solution. I heard a lot of great ideas, just from sitting here. So there's gonna be some ideas that I'm gonna implement in my ward. But I don't want you to think that the abandoned homes are going to be neglected. The mayor has been proactive. They are doing the research, like this gentleman did. How many hours did that take you down?
8.
So we're talking maybe 40 hours?
Yeah.
Altogether?
Yeah.
For one property. Keep that in mind. We can look at the big picture, but let's bring it down to reality. 40 hours for one house to find out its trust. It's not going anywhere. So now you gotta go to the next house. The average rate of pay is what? Multiple. You know, somebody brings home $500 a week.
Yeah, and I've been in Harvard since 07, so I've been maintaining and cutting
Yes, absolutely.
But at least if the residents know that it's on a list and it's on the radar of the city, that will be a help. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that it's City of Harvey's fault, they don't care.
No,
I'm
and
saying
that's
that
and that's
it's-
the and that's the thing that I'm trying to answer. So just for instance, because again, it's all of us working together
Right,
that makes it happen.
right.
So one of the reasons why we put the report of concern on the website, and you see the abandoned home, that's like the first or second option,
Yeah.
is where you can report that there's been an abandoned home, that there's a vacant property. Because honestly, to tell you the truth, and we just don't have enough manpower for everybody to run around and try to figure out which is which.
Well, City of
We don't
Harvey
have
is that big.
enough.
Like the City of Chicago.
We don't. What was that? I didn't
I'm saying city, no,
no, I didn't hear what you said.
I said City of Harvey is not that big compared to like the City of Chicago.
True.
And don't have the revenue like the city of Chicago.
But we don't, right, we don't have the revenue of the city. We don't have the revenue of the city. We don't have the same manpower the city has. And I'll just give an example. So I'll just surmise, just from my general views in the city, that there are over 1,000 abandoned properties in the city of Harvey. 1,000, okay? So if we took, and trying to figure out the ownership of those houses, because for those who were here, I think it was last month or the month before, I talked about how the ownership of a house goes. And how it gets so convoluted that it's not just as simple as, I would,
Create a task force, have volunteers, residents volunteer on.
I got the greatest.
I'm
Yeah,
just saying, I
yes,
don't know.
yes, no, because first of all, number one is, and I want everybody to really pay attention to this, because what she's saying is so on point. So the very first question I'm gonna ask is, are you willing to do it? If you're willing to do it, then you stop by my office sometime this week, Miss Davis. Make sure that you get her information. You stop by my office, and we're gonna set that up. Okay? Because and not only her, but other people in this room to help to get that done.
I have a question.
Because that's what we're gonna need. Okay, I gotta get her, Ms. Cook, and then I'll get you. Yes. And no, I still got, I'm sorry, Alderman. I gotta get the Alderman after Ms. Cook.
My name is Lola Cook. I have an abandoned house that's been abandoned for approximately 8 years. The first time it was abandoned, it was some friends of mine. They moved to Las Vegas. And they left the house, which I thought some people was looking at it, I thought they sold it. So people kept looking at the house and looking at the house and looking at the house. Eventually, nothing happened. So, some years passed, the city boarded the house up. Then, some people came back out, looked at the house, the boards came off the house, they was in the house fixing it up. So I'm like, cool, we have new neighbors. Next thing you know, the house, they vacant the house was just open. I called the city, my neighbors called the city boarded the house up again. And right now today, it is still open, and it's been over 5 years. So it's not the city can do all they can, but if a person shows interest in the property, they take over. And they show interest in the property, the city's like, okay, cool, just like I did. I'm having new neighbors. Not knowing that they dumped it, just like, other people. Don't have enough money for it. You say, okay, I'm out. And you just move on to something else. And the city has to go back and board it back up again. Because the city don't know it's abandoned until somebody calls and say, well, it's like a vacant house and it's open and we have little children in the area. You need to come back out and board the house back up. Well, they think there's somebody on the house.
So,
the house is still vacant, but it's boarded up now.
you guys know I have to go because I announced it in the beginning. But I want to say this. First of all, number one is, as far as that's concerned, we're going to see each other in February again. And we'll see each other before that time. Oh, go ahead. Because you did see it.
Okay, who's in charge of as far as like putting judges on the stand? Like, I want to know that because I'm having an issue as far as like, well, I was called out here from at a younger age. I'm currently I just made 35, and so I want to know who put this judge on the stand. And I've been fighting. I was like, oh, let me go back home. I'm from Louisiana. I came to Illinois because they told me somebody needed help. So I've been out here helping, but I've been fighting to survive. So I'm like, I don't understand because I'm not understanding who's in charge of putting certain people in positions that they don't deserve. Who's in charge of putting these judges on the stand that they don't deserve? Who's in charge of putting, who's in charge of, the schooling? Who's in charge of this? This is what I've been asking. Who is it?
You're elected.
Right. So who's in charge of electing these people to put on these stands and in positions that they don't deserve? That's what I want to know.
We elect those judges. Every time we don't know.
You are.
We are. We elect them.
Okay, and my next question is, how do you find out as far as running for office? Because since I've been out here, I've always had a time as far as somebody stealing this, my license, my social, my this, my that. I'm called to come out here and help at an early age. And so I've helped a lot of people out here. And it's to the point where now I'm kind of fed up about it because I stopped speaking up and I stopped letting this person, oh no, I help you. And so I'm to the point where I'm kind of over it. So I am to the point where they kind of destroy my family in the process of me helping everybody. And so it's kind of I felt like I was torn apart. And so who's in charge of as far as the mayors, who's in charge of that? How do you vote? How do you find out who's the mayor, who's running? How do you find out what they're about? Because I know that they can say it, but how do you know for sure if you're really going to help? How do you know that?
You don't. You really don't. You gotta go by your instincts.
Right.
That is a really big philosophical question. No, because I do have, if y'all want me to keep this relationship, no, there's not a this quick. I gotta hold on. We are continuing. We're not over. I just have to, come on, y'all. I just have to leave because I have to keep this other relationship. You have very good questions, and thank you so much. Yes. Some of them go back to basically who controls that, who fixes all that. You do.
I would like to talk to you personally because
As being able, wait, hold on. We're done.
oh, that's okay.
We can talk. I want you to give it to her, but I need to get this out because I gotta go.
Okay, is there someone else that I can speak with because I have a question about the mayor and Bridgeview?
Okay, but we don't have the mayor in Bridgeview.
Oh, it's not.
No, and that's what I was trying to answer your question. So judges, we don't do judges.
You don't do judges?
No.
So who's in charge of putting those people on the stand?
That's your county government.
County government. What about that?
At North Platte Avenue, what's that, 160? Whatever it is, downtown Chicago. Yeah, downtown Chicago. Okay. Hello. I know we love each other and we ain't been here that long. Look, the last thing that I wanted to point out, because we're going to get the issue as far as the housing is concerned. We'll see each other again the first Saturday in February. And so at that particular time, when we come back, she's going to be giving a report. Okay? This young lady right here that says she's volunteering to help. She's going to give a report so she can say exactly what a solution does. Okay? And she'll be able to demonstrate how many of you came along to help. Okay? How many people are actually trying to do something so we can make this a better community? But the last thing that I want to say before I get out of here is that we reduced the vehicle sticker fees from $50 to $35. Okay? I'm mentioning that not just because of the savings, but because of what we need for you to do. There have been people in the city of Harvey that has not purchased a city sticker for over 10 years. Okay? Once again, these are things that we know because we're all family. As a result, people not purchasing the stickers means that we get less revenue into the city. Because we get less revenue into the city, then the price goes up to accommodate for what we didn't get because of those people who refused to buy stickers for 10 years. And then those same people complain about a pothole when they won't even buy a city sticker. So we reduced the price. Thankfully to Alderman Rogers, Alderman, where'd he go? Alderman Critical was in here, Alderwoman Lewinsky, the rest of our city council, we were able to get that reduced. But now we need for you to get the stickers.
I've been buying mine for you.
We can't have that. Come on now. I wasn't even driving my car, still got the sticker. So we need you to get the stickers because that's the carrot. The carrot is we're going to work together as a community and we're going to purchase the stickers so we can make sure we still have the revenue coming in. We're going to encourage our neighbors and friends so we can still have the neighborhood, the revenue coming in. That's the carrot. Now y'all always know that with the carrot also comes the stick. If we can't get people to participate and go and get those $35 stickers, then we're not going to have any choice but to put it back up to $50.
What about the seniors? Are they gonna say $6?
Seniors still say $6, yes.
Right, that's what I'm.
But mind you, but the seniors were $6 with a $50 late fee.
Oh, well, mine, I don't believe in late.
So, I see you back there. I see you back there. Just hold on. Because we gotta get this alderman first, and then we have to get this alderman first, and then we have to get the alderman first. because I've already bypassed them several times. But please get the stickers, okay? And please encourage others, because we don't want to have to go back up on the price. But it's us working together that makes this happen. Yes, Alderman. And then this young lady back here.
Good morning, everybody. Happy holidays. I greet you with joy and happiness. To address the young lady that wanted to work on the abandoned properties, ma'am, I think you should be commended. I look forward to working with you after the meeting. I'd like to leave you my information because I have some resources that we may be able to team up together to find out who owns some of these abandoned properties. The mayor's office was very proactive in initiating a brand new company called ProChamp. Now, ProChamp has been sending out registration to everybody to find out who the actual property owners are. Some of them, most of us that are homeowners here in the city of Harvey, okay, we have gotten a card in the mail. Matter of fact, I got one for an additional rental property of mine yesterday, okay? And what it does is it's confirming who owns these particular properties. Now, as far as the abandoned properties, I've had an opportunity before because I was concerned myself about some of these properties because I've been maintaining a lot of abandoned properties in my ward. And one of the requirements that I thought was very good too was to go downstairs to the planning department and talk with somebody in planning, and then they'll give you a freedom of information. Okay, you fill that out, and then it gives them an opportunity to individually put special attention on who owns these abandoned properties. Just like my colleague, Alderwoman Shirley Drewinski mentioned, some of them are owned by the bank, some of them are owned by deceased people, some of them are just been abandoned, you know, so we don't know. As an alderman, I've had an opportunity to try to get Mr. Sepik, Superintendent of Grounds, to come and cut certain lots. I found out recently that the city is not allowed to go on certain properties and cut, okay, if it's not a city-owned property. So these are all combinations of problems that the city encounters, okay, and right, the city of Harvey is not as large as the city of Chicago, but we also don't have the revenue as the city of Chicago. What we're doing, our city has deteriorated over the past 16 years, and now we're at a point where we've been reborn, rebirthed, and rejuvenated. We're at a place right now where I think the entire population of the city of Harvey is excited about the direction on which we're spiraling. But it's gonna take a little time. And ma'am, I don't know your name, what is it? Gloria? Valoria? Valoria, I'd like to leave you my information because I have some resources that may be able to help you since you've been appointed to be the chairperson. No, you've been appointed. Don't try to back out now. But basically, that's pretty much what I wanted to. And thank you all so much. And if I don't see you again, have a wonderful holiday.
All right. Thanks, Alderman. I guess this is my moment right here. I've been before you all several times. I'm Chief Eddie Winters, and what I wanted to do was take a little time to just go over some of my crime, have a candid conversation about the crime in the city of Harvey. Before I do that, what I want to do is just introduce some of my staff who's going to be contributing to this presentation that I'm about to give in a few minutes. And so while my director of investigations, he's not here right now, I'd like to start off with my chief assistant, my special assistant, that's Dr. Lee Anderson. Dr. Anderson came to the city of Harvey with a great wealth of experience. Dr. Anderson has came to the city of Harvey with a great wealth of experience in dealing with city government. And so when you all call my office, this is the person who you'll probably speak with, and when it comes to getting a lot of things done on my behalf, while I'm trying to work the other parts of the city, that's who's actually, you'll probably be dealing with a lot.
And what's your name again, sir? Chief?
Dr. Anderson.
Dr. Anderson?
Yes.
Okay.
And so,
Dr. Lee Anderson?
and then next is Detective Baptiste, Sandra Baptiste. I'm not sure if you all know her, but she's been with the city of Harvey for about, what, 12, 15 years, something like that. And she comes with a wealth of 30 years of experience in law enforcement. And then recently, I know I told you all about our community policing office that I recently started. And I have Miss Danielle Dorsey, who's our community outreach worker. And so she's actually helping things move you know, as it relates to community engagement. So it's my hope that moving forward that we're gonna have more meetings like this, monthly meetings, let's say. And we're trying to figure out whether they're gonna be part of the Mayor's Community Solutions or if it's gonna be something over at the PD. That's something that we're working out right now because we have a lot of information that you all need to have. So I wanna tell you all what this meeting is and what it's not. Okay, what the meeting is to give you all an opportunity to see what the crime picture is like in the city of Harvey, and for us to together work on solutions on how we're going to work together on different things to improve these conditions. What is not is me just talking to you all and you all just throwing it back at me and walking out the door and saying, okay, chief, y'all handle it. This is us and we're all in this together. Am I in agreement with that?
Yeah.
And we're all in this together? So therefore, I know that this room is pretty cold, but I'm hoping that we can liven it up with a lively, candid discussion. And so when I say candid, I'm talking about the truth. Let's talk about the truth and let's talk about what is happening in Harvey, all right? So, while that's coming down, how many of you all have followed the history of the police department? I'm just not going to talk about the city of Harvey. I'm talking about not this year, I'm talking about last year, just going back, let's say 10, 15 years. So who has, by a show of hands, they're pretty familiar with our police department, right? All right. Who's familiar with the incidents that have taken place as far as the latest raid on the department? All right, that was this year. So not many people in here know about it, right? Right, so by the show of hands, it doesn't seem like too many people here know about it. Well, I'm not gonna go back into that. But what I want to talk about are just a couple things that has happened of late. So anytime that there's really a concern, I'm sorry, man.
I think the majority of us in here have been getting information only through the media.
Only through the media.
There's not been any like personal contact with, say, you or your representative or whoever's been in the department.
Okay.
It's only when there's been an incident that actually affected an individual or a family or someone that was close to it that we actually interceded with or anything that the police department has to do.
That's what today is about. That's what today is about. And so what I'm leading up to right now, thank you, is to tell you all that there are a lot of things that need to be fixed. And I like to know that, I like to think that we are, that we made some good progress. And as things come up, I recognize that I not only have to fix those things, but make sure that you know that they are being fixed. So there's a couple things that has happened. Let's see how I fast forward this. I already done my introductions. And so these are some of the things that you all need to know about. You got 10 recruits sworn to the City of Chicago Police Academy in January 2020. That's going to add to our already, when we talk about scarce resources, our resources and manpower. So these 10 officers are going to help and build on new policies and new procedures that I am putting in place as we speak right now. Having those new officers means a whole lot to visibility. These new officers, and one of the things that you all need to keep in mind that there's a lot of policies, a lot of newer policies out there, a lot of new practices out there that we have, I don't want to say been deprived of, but we're just not current on. And so bringing in newer officers is going to really help with that. Right now, like even as you see in the next bullet point, crisis intervention team. Well, that's part of the newer training that officers will be taking part in. And we're talking about dealing with the mental health mental illness. And so officers that's been on as long as I have, I mean, I've had it, but typically your average officer in Harvey has not had this type of training. So that is something that you all know that's come to the forefront now, that we have a lot of mental illness that's out here, and officers have to be equipped to handle that. But what we have done, up to this point is I've been able to send 6 officers at this point in time to crisis intervention team training. So next, some of you all may know about it, but it's consolidating our dispatch services. Okay, we talk about, I call the police, as the mayor mentioned, because he gets the complaints all the time. I called, I haven't heard anything. I called, I'm waiting, I'm still waiting. The dispatch system, I've called, the phone has gone to a voicemail, or nobody answered. So now with having a new, or having this consolidated dispatch system with the Cook County, I know that that's going to help us out in response time, because right now, all you know is the police hasn't came. You don't know if it's the dispatch system, or is it officers got the call and they just decided to not come. But you know you just saw officers sitting in a lot over on Dixie Highway, and you've been calling, or your neighbor told you that, yeah, all you gotta do is go up there and find them and you'll get them there. You don't know exactly what the issue is, but at the end of the day, you didn't get a response. But I am telling you that those are the two issues that I've been faced with. So we have roadside safety checks. I've heard the complaints. I've heard the complaints about how we get a lot of violators of our traffic stop signs. You know, all you got to do, chief, is go over to this particular stop sign. You're gonna get, you can make a lot of money off of these guys that are running these stop signs. So, and also with the trucks. So what did I do? I implemented a roadside safety checks. And up to this point, I implemented two. One I did end up having to cancel during the winter season. We typically don't do them, but those will start back up, and so you should expect to see those more and often. So I talked about old practices. Our records, our policies have not been updated since 2014, all right? We're in 2019. Policing has changed significantly since 2014. So now I am working on updating our practices as well as our department policies, procedures. We talk about updating the department technology. Yes, the Cook County, through the dispatch, when changing over to that system, they have a lot of what you call dashboards. Those dashboards that captures all of the crime that may take place, all the reported crime that have taken place in Harvey, which will allow me to conduct a quicker and a more efficient analysis of our crime picture in Harvey. Right now, currently, we are relying on other outside resources to help me out in doing that. And you all are gonna see some figures shortly. So, when we talk about my community engagement, I'd like to bring up, and I've already introduced them, our Citizens Academy, Girls Motivated by Success, our Squire Car Contest, and our National Night Out. And so, again, I'll let Detective Baptiste and Ms. Dorsey talk a little bit about that.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
So I do know I don't look the same when I'm not in uniform. So that's Ms. Ruby. She's gonna tell me what I look like on Tuesday. We're here to talk about citizen engagement. I understand when that young lady talked about abandoned buildings, all of that. However, you didn't have a place to send it to, correct? Well, we're gonna give you a place. Our email address is communitypolicing@harveypolice.org. Send a complaint. That's what community engagement means. That's what we're starting to do. Chief has implemented a way where you can talk to us as the police through our email, and maybe we can direct it to a different location. You may not know where it should go. You may not know who you should talk to. Yes, ma'am?
What is our email?
If you don't have email, 708-331-3030, and you can call extension 222 or 237. I can say 222 or 237. But if you need to talk to me directly, it's 221. 708-331-3030, extension 222, which is also in my office, extension 237, which is in Ms. Dorsey's office. And if you want to just talk to me, because I'm sitting right next to that phone, 221. Detective Baptiste. You know what my extension is. 221. like in the religion, Baptist, just like the religion. And yes, I do know John. That's my grandfather. So we have that. We have started the
Could you
community.
repeat the website address again?
Community policing.
Policing.
Harvey, and it's all one word, Harvey Police,
Wait a minute.
at harveypolice.org.
At Harvey Police.
Yes. We started the Community Police Academy. Chief allowed us, the Community Police Academy. It's a citizens academy, actually. It doesn't belong to us, it belongs to you. We have members in the room. Ms. Ruby, Mr. Michelle. Ms. Michelle could tell you more about that. Mr. Ryan, Mr. Georgia, you came, but you all right. Mr. Isaac, who else is in here? Oh, I see Ms. Armstrong, Ms. Banks. Y'all don't quit hiding. I said Mr. Irvin. You were third. No, Irvin. See, he tried to get me in trouble. So I won't speak to that. I'll let Ms. Michelle speak to that, because she is the class president.
Hi, my name is Michelle Smith. I am like the gap that bridges the citizens to the police department. We come together, we have a class every Tuesday about evidence, about like pretty much probable cause. We get together to just know the officers, not like on a personal level, just to understand what they go through when they're on the streets. You know, pulling these people over, getting the crimes to, try to get the crimes down. But the truth of the matter is, we need the community help to help the police department out. It's not all about the police doing it on their own, it's about the citizens. So if you see something wrong that's happening, like your next door neighbor doing something wrong, it's okay to turn something in. It don't mean that you a snitch. That's not a snitch. But the most important thing is that citizens come together and working along with the police department so that we can get more crime rates down.
When and where? What time?
It's on Tuesdays currently at 6 p.m. at the police station. They're graduating, and they're going to start back January 7th. 6 p.m. Police station. Wear your street clothes. Next thing we're moving to is the gyms. The gyms are girls motivated for success. Girls empowered, motivated for success. It is a private program we're doing at Brooks Middle School. So far, when we started, we had 15 girls. We have 32 as of Thursday. And on Thursday, we got a surprise that the girls asked us, we were only doing it one day. They asked us, will we now do it 2 days? We bring in speakers, we have an engagement with the young ladies, and our goal is to let them know that there's somebody with a voice. They don't have to take too much, but they are allowed to accomplish, and we recognize their accomplishments, even at the smallest level. Even if it's an attitude change that was in the classroom, or they're no longer bullying, we want to recognize them. We also want to show that in February sometime, if we get approved, we want to have a luncheon to present them to you all at their best. We want to have the female population come out, support them, and they wanted to have you females wear hats, like an old-fashioned tee. When I grew up, we had a cotillion, or you had a debutante's bomb. We want to get that back to them. The squad car contest, our squad car designs are designed by one of the students at Brooks Middle School. We did a contest over the summer when they first got back in. They designed our logo that you're gonna see on our squad cars when they come out. The children designed our logo. We put it out there, we told them what we were looking for, they came up with the images. So the logo that you see on the squad cars is the logo that this kid designed. The logo you see for community policing is the logo that's on the squad car that the kid designed. National Night Out, City of Harvey, the police department, You all got to dump the chief, which was fun. We enjoy meeting you all. We want to do that again. It's only a success if you participate. It's not a success if you're not there, if you're not telling us what you need and how we should meet your needs. That's our program.
All right. So this here is my effort to open up the Harvey Police Department to the residents in which it belongs to. There's a lot of you all in here that have walked through that station on the other side of the door for the very first time, who had never been inside of the roll call room and have been here in this city for years. The police department, belong to the residents, and they're only going to be as successful as the relationships that we have with you all. So opening it up and starting a community policing program was one of the most important things that I think that I could have done, and was one of the most important things that I needed to do. A little bit about myself is that I'm, even in my community, I'm a community leader there. They don't know me as a police officer. They know me as Zeddy, and yeah, he's a police too. So they know me as just being a guy from the community. I still walk, still sit on my porch, I still do all those things. So I understand the importance of this engagement. And so I get it from both ends. So I see it through the lens of the police, and I see it through the lens of a regular John Q. citizen. And I understand the real importance of these relationships. If you can wait, but I'll take this question. Well, could you wait for a second? Because I have a lot to do, I have a lot to go through, and I want, but go ahead. I'm sorry? You would like to meet? Oh yeah. Again, remember, this is just our first meeting. This is meeting number 1. This isn't the first or the last time that you're going to see us here. We're going to start doing this monthly, so they won't start until January. You have to remember, they go into the academy in January. So we're talking about 5 months. We're talking about like around May before you will actually see them on the streets. Right? So let's be clear on that. You're not going to see them out here in January. January is when they go to the academy. So, community policing program. I'll just run through this here. Of course, we had the turkey giveaway. Then we also had a trunk or treat. Then we also had a car show. Alderman participated in that. Where's it? Where Alderman Rogers? There we go. All right. So yeah. And then we have also, and thank you for your support. Thank all the aldermen. Are they all here? Yeah. Okay, they're all here. And then the partnership with Ring. I think I'm going to let, before I go into our crime stats, let me go back. Partnership with Ring. You want to go into that a little bit more? Again, because this is going to fall under community policing. And just so that you all know, I like to just get them more in the habit of standing up here in front of you all and presenting, because I'm the face of the department. I'm the one that's pushing all these agendas, but they're the ones that's actually back here just making it happen. And so it's important that you all hear from them, and it's important that they get an opportunity to talk to you all as well.
Great. I do need to make a clarification.
Go ahead.
Please don't forget that you call in your banner straight to City Hall. Okay? Just so we make sure that's clear. We just a secondary level. Ring and the Harvey Police Department has gotten to a partnership for the Citizens Portal, where that we will be able to access the portal and see where the complaints and the things are that's being said by you, the citizens, is happening in the neighborhood. I have a Ring phone, a Ring bell, a Ring system, a Ring alarm, all of that. So when something happens in my neighborhood, all the way to Chicago, where I set my perimeter, I know what's going on the portal. You have to be part of that partnership. So Harvey Police Department has entered into that same partnership. That's okay. so you guys
Well,
can make.
I don't
you
have
make-
a ring. I have all of that you have and can see
You don't have a ring?
in Mexico, but I have North Star.
Oh. So it should be, I'll check
I
with
mean,
you
I
and
can
see if
look at
I
all
can get into
my-
a partnership with them as well.
Well, right now, I'm very satisfied. My neighbor has a ring and my system is way more better than hers. So I'm gonna keep what I have. Harvey won't be able to access it, but I'll be able to access it myself. And if there's some issues, I'm gonna hold the alarm system accountable. Because right now, if somebody rings my doorbell standing at my door front, more people do have the security alarms and everybody don't have the ring. And like I said, my system seems like it goes a little farther than hers. So we did a comparison of our systems, so. But I'm glad that you guys do have that, where you can go in and be able to look through the portal or whatever it is that's going on in our neighborhood.
So it's not my intention to keep you all here, but I do want to get down to what I call, these candid conversations that we're going to have about our crime. All right? So,
Thank you.
who's familiar with this?
Well,
Is anybody's first time seeing this? No?
Well, it's not-
But you all either saw it or heard about it, right?
Heard about it.
Okay, so here's where we're gonna go. I'm gonna start off with that. Of course, there's a lot of people that saw it before me, but two of the most important people that saw it were city administrator and the mayor. So it's always best to have the information before they have it,
Oh,
but
it's best for you to have it.
exactly, but that wasn't the case. So anyway, let's talk about what our homicides look like right now, all right? Here we go. 2018, we had 13. We're talking about for the year. 9 are still open currently from 2018. There were 4 that were closed from 2018. This year, you got 19. 14 of those are still open. 5 have been closed. So there's a difference of 6 as far as compared to last year. So when they talk about 100% increase or a gazillion or whatever those numbers are, these are the numbers right here. 14 are still open, 5 are still closed. Difference of 6, again, between last year, talking about closure. We closed 5 more than last year. We still have 5 that are still open. It's a difference from the 1 that's compared to last year. Now, there's a couple other factors that you can look at. Number 1 is the layoffs. The layoffs did definitely impact, that's where we are, as far as manpower and closing some of these, all right? Year-to-date comparison, burglaries, thefts, and just shootings. Burglaries, 2018, there were 392. 2019, there were 298. That's a difference of 94. So we are down in burglaries. Down. Thefts, there were 435. Compared to 2019, we have 336. We are down 99. Robberies, there were 161 robberies last year in 2018, compared to this year, 140. Down 21. Shootings, last year there were 60, compared to this year, 77. So shootings, homicides, they are up. Now, last year, the total, last year, officers responded to 22,200 calls last year alone. The year isn't over yet, but up to this point, our officers have responded to 20,315 calls. Remember, the layoffs. These are the facts, and we're having a candid conversation. Well, we're going to talk a little bit more about that, but I want to show you the numbers. 1885, those are the numbers. Now, for the total year, my department has pulled 164 guns off the street of Harvey. Since I've been there, 104 of those guns have been pulled off. These are the numbers. So they're out there working, as you can see, with what we have. Do we need more? Absolutely, and more is coming. So, my director isn't here. Yes, but let me talk about some of the training that I was able to do with some of our new investigators. So, because I had such a heavy caseload, what I needed to do was move some officers from patrol because I did have some to lateral over. Once those officers got up to training, whereas we can just put them out there by themselves, I moved some officers from patrol over to investigations just to assist in getting some of these cases closed. So, 40-hour lead investigator course, 40-hour lead homicide investigator course, 16-hour advanced homicide course, 16-hour criminal sexual assault investigator course, and 24-hour interrogation and interviewing course. These are some of the trainings that I have approved for our officers to go through, because again, remember I told you, that's one of the, if there's something that's constant with law enforcement, it is training, it's professional development, some things that are definitely needed each year. So now I'm trying to make sure that these things are happening on a continual basis is what it is that I'm implementing. So he's not here to get the progress on some of these open cases, but what I will tell you is this here. You all have to understand that when it comes to a lot of these cases, it's not solely up to the Harvey police to actually go out and make sure the case is charged and conviction is made on that. There's a lot of parties that go into place when it comes to that. There's the victim, there's a witness, there's the police, there's the state's attorney. There's a lot of other folks and a lot of other moving pieces when these things happen. And oftentimes, you know, we have hang-ups in each point, each step of the way. And without going into too many cases up here, I think that through community participation, through the diligence of some of these investigators, I think that you are going to be excited with some of the movement of these cases, and then we're going to be able to share with you all hopefully next month. So that's really about all I'm going to say about some of the open cases, because he's not here and I wanted him to talk about the cases. And what I would like for you all to do is for any questions it is that you all may have that we can answer. I'm not going to answer them in this open forum here, but Dr. Anderson does have some index cards for anything it is that you all might want to share or any particular questions, and I have the investigators to get back to you all in doing that.
Can we also go on the website?
Which website now?
Your community policing website.
The email, yeah, you can.
The one that,
yes. You can send emails as well. You all can send emails. One of the things, and I'm glad that the, so again, what I wanted to show you all, this is a map. This map is a map of all the homicides that have taken place in Harvey. All right? So we're talking about 2019. I've been doing this for as long as I've been doing this. When I look at a map like this, to you all, these are dots. These are shootings that have taken place. But from an analytical standpoint, you look at this, when you don't see any clusters in any particular area, that tells you that these are good indicators that they were probably targeted for one reason or another. And it's dislocated because you really don't see any consistency there. And that's what it is that you're dealing with, and that's the reason why we're here, and that's the reason why we have to build better relationships and better communication, because we can't solve this alone, because there's no trends right there anywhere on that map. It's all over the place. Does that make sense to you all what I'm saying?
Yes.
If I see clusters, because I did 25 years in Chicago Police Department, and I handle things like this, and I've been doing this here for a long time. Of my 25 years, 14 years of that, I can look at a map and I can tell you what needs to happen there, how we're going to do it, all those different things. This here spells out to me community engagement. And what I also learned about Harvey is that everybody in Harvey pretty much knows everybody in Harvey. Everybody in Harvey knows what's going on in Harvey. So right off the bat, the things that I've known, the things that I've dealt with before as far as all the other technology, all the other techniques, that's good, and I'll be ready for that. But what I need to do is build this up right here. If I build this up right here, we can attack this. Because this here takes some out of the box thinking, some different perspectives. Folks that's gonna say, no, you all are out here from 10 to 12 when you really need to be around here at 3 in the morning. This is where you really need to be. And that's right there in a nutshell as to why we're here. If I had clusters, I wouldn't need you all as much, because I have that. I know what's happening, I know where it's happening at, and 9 times out of 10, I know who's doing it. But this right here is something else. Yes, ma'am. All over the board. All over. Because it's not targeted. This, you're talking so, of these homicides, as you can see, when they're targeted, when they're all over the board like this, they're random acts. Random acts. Random, but they're targeted. Now, I've seen the narratives of each one of them, and that's why I can tell you with certainty, you know, that what's happening, and it's very consistent with what it is I'm saying here. So, I'm gonna leave this up to questions, and hopefully I can answer everything, but one of the things that I definitely will, you know, want to end this with is that as Harvey begins to improve, as you all have new leadership at each level, the police department level, new aldermen that are in place right now, new administration, you know, it's ever more important that we all share information. And that's why Detective Activation is up here really just saying, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I just want to make a quick, brief statement, and I think I made a call to the police department to speak with you and speak with Dr. Anderson, because some of my residents over in the Great Sixth Ward had told me that they saw a vast improvement in response time to the police department. And I think the Harvey Police Department should be commended because recently in the past few months, when you call them, they're there, they're coming. It's not a 30-minute or a 45-minute wait anymore. They're usually within 5 to 6 minutes. Depending on the severity and where the officers are located. They're doing a phenomenal, great job in the recent 3 or 4 months, and I think that they should be commended. And that's pretty much what I want to say.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Chief Williams, my name is I just had a comment, and this is kind of like a community solution, kind of a solution. I think that all the businesses in the city of Harvey need to be mandatory that they have surveillance cameras on the inside and the outside of their businesses as a start. And maybe we might even need to go a step further, make it mandatory that all residents have surveillance cameras in our city. I mean, I know that's a drastic move, but in order to curtail some of this crime and to help the police department, you know, and get a trail on what's going on, maybe we should do that, you know, and that would come in the form of an ordinance from the mayor and the aldermen to change the way that things are set.
Okay. Well, those individuals out here, Tim Williams, do you have anything to add to that?
No, that's certainly something that we can discuss with Corporation Counsel. Of course, there's some civil liberties things that we'll have to be concerned with before we could make any decisions of that nature. That's certainly a great idea that we can. One thing that we are going to see in the top of next year is the business community coming together to lead some of these discussions. Nobody better can tell the business community and City Hall what is needed but those leaders in the business community. So I know the City of Harvey of years past had a Chamber of Commerce. We are going to be putting together a business association in the top of next year that will help to facilitate some of those conversations. And that idea would be something that we could definitely flush out in that environment.
Yes, ma'am.
Why did you already the police officer off the Thomas Ward? So what was the case of that?
I hate to give a response that I wasn't here, but I wasn't here.
You weren't here?
I just got here in May.
It was a funding crisis.
It was a funny.
The pensions were all set. 35% of state funding were going towards pensions. We didn't have the funding to be able to carry the police department and layoffs at that same level. Layoffs were made across the board, not just in police. In all departments, there were layoffs that occurred in 2017, and we're feeling the impacts of that currently.
Yes, you had something?
Yeah, and to that, I want to say that one of the things that I've been doing in my job is everybody that was laid off, we have a list of who was laid off and their seniority. Since Chief Winters has been there and Mayor Clark has been in office, we have called officers back. So some of them have gotten other jobs, some of them have come back. And this was not only just police officers, but also staff that work in records and booking and things like that. So we have just 2 more people that need to be restored to their status out of everybody that was laid off.
Yes, ma'am.
I want to say, as far as the, because I live in the cul-de-sac over there on Spring stuff, I see you a lot over there. And it's nice to see you guys policing again, because that area, a lot of people come back and they, because it's a closed area, they come back in and do a lot of things. So it's nice to see, because I know back in the day, you guys used to do it, you flash the lights back there, because you don't light off that water. So it's good to see you guys doing that again.
Okay, thank you. Yes,
Hello,
ma'am.
my name is Sandra Contreras. I'm a school board member for the Harvey Public District Schools here. I have a concern regarding the dispatching. On October 5th at 9:27 a.m., I called in a suspicious vehicle. I have residential parking in my home. He gave the description, the color, the make of the vehicle. No, I have the same vehicle in my lot as well, in my driveway. So the dispatcher, I gave her everything. I proceed to give her the plate. She tells me she does not need a plate. I have a problem with that because I have the same vehicle. On October 6th, they tried to lure my sister in a vehicle as well. There's been armed robberies going around that happened on Thanksgiving in the morning, gun pointing in my area. Yesterday at 7:41 p.m., I call your dispatcher, 7 gunshots fired outside my house. My problem is, if you don't have a license plate, how do you know who you are looking for? If you are not running that plate number, how do you know that person has a warrant or is out here doing things that they should not be doing? And my issue is too, when that officer came out here, I don't know who it was, they pulled over a different vehicle. I don't know what that had to do in regards with it, but that van had already took off and left before the officer arrived to my house. And that is a huge concern for us, especially noting that Holmes Public, the home school is right down the street as well. Okay, and these are during school hours.
Okay, yeah, that shouldn't have happened. They should have gotten a plate number because that's unacceptable. And that's something that I can't
Right, and I know
address.
that's protocol because I was a 911 dispatcher and I know how it seems. So
Right.
I am very concerned and highly upset that the dispatcher did not take the plate.
Okay, and so, you know what, that is something that I will address, and then also, again, remember I talked about training, remember I talked about policies, procedures, and how long ago was it that you were a dispatcher?
Recently,
Recently.
I want to say I just left in May.
May?
Okay.
Did you have training for it?
Yes, I do.
Okay. See what I'm saying?
Sound like you might need a dispatcher.
Yeah, when I talk about some of the practices, when I talk about the policies and procedures, it's real. We're talking about 2014. And so it's some challenges ahead, but these are things that are happening, and these are things that I have to address, and I will address them, okay? And I thank you for that. Anyone else? Yes, sir.
Afternoon, everybody. My name is Tracy Key. I'm the fourth ward alderman for those of y'all who don't know me. So I just want to commend the police department for the work that they've been doing in the city and especially in my ward. And particularly Ms. Baptiste, I had an incident. Y'all remember when that cold snuck up on us and we had that snow and that ice all of a sudden and everything. It got real cold out here and everybody was worried about the wintertime was coming. But what I was really touched about was that it was an incident where one of my residents, which is a senior citizen, and I'm gonna leave her name out of here, but her heat was out. She didn't have any heat. She was in the house cold. And the sad part about it is that she really didn't have any family that was supporting her or come to get her. I know all y'all, people, parents and everything. If something happened with my mom, I'm coming to get mom.
Amen.
Whatever she needs, dad, or whatever the situation. But she was in a situation where she didn't have any heat and she didn't have any help. And I called Miss Baptiste and you hop right on it. Police came by, they came by, did the service check and stuff and everything on her, making sure she was okay. Now, the issue that we was having was that you can't make a person leave their house. You know, it's against the law. If a person don't want to leave their house, they can feel violent, they can't make them leave their house. And it's sad that when you don't have support by other family members, and it's other people that have to come and do it. So I'm just encouraging everybody when it gets cold outside, check on your seniors and your family. And it is so surprising how there's so many people that are living at home by themselves and they don't have any support from their family. And it's sad. You know, you should be ashamed of yourself. Who's ever doing it should be ashamed of yourself, put it that way. But I just want to appreciate, you know, the work and the effort that you guys are doing, Police Department, Chief Winters, and Smith.
Deputy Chief.
Yeah. They know me very well. I'm probably one of the #1 persons that call in to the police department. They know me. They know who I am. And every time they do give me good service. So it was just a couple of questions I want to ask you. First, I want to see, is it any way to determine on which ward out of the 6 wards that the most crime is being committed in?
I'll be able to do that. As it stands right now, the way the records are set up, no. I would have to plot them like this here, and then that can be done.
Okay. Now, my next question is this. Out of the shootings that we done had, the 19 shootings, which way will we be able to evaluate, okay, are these older men shooting older men? Are these young guys shooting young guys? Are these teenagers shooting teenagers? What's like the crime, you know, the age group where most of the crime is being committed?
I will be able to give you that of the victims. I won't be able to give you the offenders until the offender has been identified.
Well, I'm talking about the age number.
Of victims.
Okay.
I don't have that right this moment, so I will be able to give you that.
Okay, because it'll be good idea for us to evaluate and be able to let people know in the community where most of our crime is being committed.
So when you talk about that, these are the things and these are the tools that I'm used to having. Right now, I'm working on getting that type of technology over that could just give me all of this stuff instantaneously.
One last question. I've been having an issue in my ward about the stray dogs. Well, a lot of them are not stray dogs. If you see a dog with a leash running down the street, that's not a stray dog. But the issue that we have, are we going to be getting any dog catchers? Or because the problem that we have is we have to outsource to Markham. By the time the Markham makes it there, the dogs are gone.
Yep.
Then they come back, you know, and it's a lot of healthy looking dogs, you know, they just somehow, it's just more and more every day, you know, that I be seeing, you know, around in the area.
So we had an animal control officer, and so for the last, at least since I've been here, maybe up until, I'm trying to get him in the field a little bit more, but due to the layoffs, he had to go in and be booking. Now I'm hiring more booking officers, he can get back out in the field. So I just hired 2 booking officers, one in the last week, and then another one is coming up, I think in the weeks to come. So he will be back in the field, and that was one of the things I wanted to happen a lot sooner, but you will see him out there.
Okay, that'd be it.
I'm sorry? I'm sorry, could you, you're talking about animal control and you're talking about neglected animals. An animal that's neglected in someone's home, can we go in there and take possession of them? That I haven't had that situation yet. I just haven't. It was on the website.
Well, it is a law that you can't abuse them.
Absolutely. That's nothing new in Chicago. We would deal with things like that all the time. But you talk.
Harvey has no new ordinance for that. In 2019, just last month, there was a new federal law, animal cruelty and torture law, that is going into effect in 2020. That addresses penalties. Someone can be arrested for up to 7 years. That does not mean that the police can now go and take animals that have been tortured. There does have to be a charge made, and then it could be enforced, but that's a federal law. So it's still being worked out as well.
Can you give me that information and I'll look into it? If you write it down on one of the cards, index cards, I'll follow up with you on it, okay? Thank you. I haven't had to deal with as many animals in the past as I have since I've been in the Army. You know, so now I will get a little bit more rest on dealing with the animals. So, okay, if you would take a card, because I want to get around to some other folks, ma'am. Okay. Yes, ma'am.
My name is Irene Davis. I've lived in Harvard since 1964.
Okay.
I live on 152nd Malacca. It's a drug house. 151st on Malacca. And it's traffic is all day long, and the police know about it. We see it, but I don't know what it's going to get out of the fight. Police don't stop them and check on people that just cross on that.
Okay.
All that, all day long, all day. So I'm gonna know. See, I can't go in, they already know.
You give me that information. Dr. Anderson has read that information down. Just so that you all know, a lot, like when you all are seeing an increase in presence of the officers, it's simply because of the information I'm getting from you all in these meetings. So I get that information, I take it back, and I give it to my deputy, and I give it to the commander, and I tell them to ensure that there's an increase in presence in these areas. So she has wrote it down. Dr. Anderson, did you? She didn't write it down? Okay. I'm sorry. Yes, sir.
Chief?
Yes, sir.
Thank you for letting me speak. I'm a part of the Harvey Coalition with its community policing. And we've had a lot of classes. I know you talked about it earlier before, but a lot of the questions that some of you are asking, you would get those answers if you would come to the community policing. You're asking about the dogs and asking everything about the seniors. We had a lady that came in representing the state of Illinois about senior abuse, and we had a really great class on it. And in that great class, we learned the difference of how you can handle that thing with people, with everything. So all I'm asking you to do this, because I've been in this class, we're about to end our class. I don't know, we got 2 more weeks. About 2 more weeks from our class, and the next class starts. And one of the police officers is in here, and she has the sheets in case you want to join and be a part of it. I beseech thee, I implore thee to be a part of this for the city park, because guess what? If we don't do it, then who else will? If we don't support the police, then who else will? Because guess what? They can't be around 24/7 hours a day. They can't be when you're looking in the back door and seeing something happen, so oh, let the neighbors take care of it. You can't do that. We have to get involved and don't have this fear inside of you. Look, I had more fear in Harvey at one time than in Vietnam. Because my family lives here. I didn't have that, but guess what? We don't have to have that. Because times are changing. We have a new chief, a new administration. We've got people who care about us. You got this gift right now. It's like any gift. It's like the children of Israel. When they got their gift, they didn't know what to do with it. They wandered for 40 days or 40 years in the desert. For what? Because they didn't believe in themselves. They didn't know what they could do. But guess what? We can do this. This is our city. We don't have to let it go down. Support the chief. Support the administration. That's the way you get things done. You don't get things done by standing around and complaining about little things. Those little things don't mean anything. This particular chief had this big career he had in Chicago. He came to Harvard to help fight crime. Work with him. But the main thing, join the police community. Join it. Join it and be part of it. Anybody that's in here today, raise your hand who's a part of it, who's in the class. Everybody's in the class, raise your hand. Look around. These are class members of the community policing. These are class members. And we need more. We need more people more serious. I was an officer, her name is Baptiste. Wow. You don't know. This lady knows about the youth and everything else. This officer is outstanding. This officer has been in Harvey for years. This officer, you have to understand, you have people who are here, who are here now, who care about the city of Harvey. So all I'm saying is this: stand up for your city, but you just don't stand up with this. You stand up with this, your heart, and get involved in it. And don't sit on the sidelines making complaints because it's too late. Because guess what? Those things are solved when we work together. If you come to policing, the community policing, you're going to find out a lot of things. You get a lot of classes on different things. And I'm telling you, it's worth it. So do that. And support them. Because if you do support them, our city is going to change. We want industry to come. How is that going to happen if people are afraid to live here? The only way that can happen is we stand up for our rights and don't let anybody take our city over, and don't let crime and all those things come in here and be part of our heart. This is our city. And that's what it is. This is our city.
All right. Thank you. I'm going to take one more question because we are over, and two, you, and then that's it. Okay? Thank you. Yes. I'm sorry, ma'am. Okay. I'm sorry.
I wish I had
a
The guy said I'm an ex-police.
Okay.
He got hurt in a car accident maybe almost 15 years ago. And he said, you got a new sheep on there. Yes, he did.
Can you speak up? I'm sorry, you guys.
Okay, he said, I am an ex-cop in Chicago. I got hurt in a car accident about 15 years ago, and I remember that, 2 cops in the car, and I got hurt.
Okay.
He said, you got a guy out there by the name of, and I'm standing there like, yeah. He said, who is your chief? I have to admit, I see you all the time, but I think the white hair, I said, who are you looking for? He said, this guy is the best. He said, I'm telling you, Helen, he's the best. I worked with him, I've seen him. He comes in with programs. I didn't have to call him. I didn't have to, worry about it. He said, working with him, so I'm passing that on to you. I was so happy because I was scared going down the street tonight to come to the board meeting by myself. However, when I got that message, you know what I said? I trust that man. It's gonna be. But everybody give him a hand, because you don't get people volunteer doing this, telling you this stuff. Thank you so much.
I'm sorry. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Jamal Saleh. I am an owner of business, and sometimes I live in Harvard and I move in and out. I talked to you the first meeting. I need this to be concerned for the police department, the city, and CDA. That's why I talked. You remember I told you the first meeting about the homeless. We are in the middle of transportation. We have the metro, we have the bus. They drop a lot of homeless people in Harvard. And this is one of the biggest issues with the police department for breaking in the houses. I have one of the houses, I keep it open, I was cleaning. They come in, they break in Mr. Peace, and they burn it, and now still I am in a problem with the insurance. Not just my house, too many business. I see fire in Harvey, they break in to steal for living. We need some to reach with CEDA and the city and the police department to get those people to, if you want to come to Harvey, we have a place for you to stay, to eat, and to get, if you want to leave. We don't want them to keep destroying our town. Okay. That's my point. This is very important issue. Thank you.
Great.
We have put in place with the chief, and we've contacted someone who has graciously come out, pick up some of our homeless, and they will take them overnight, as well as give them shelter, food, and if they're willing and want to, they will give them an education, a trade, and a bed. Not only males, but also females. So we have got that in place. He will pick them up. So we do have that in place. Some of the people you're talking about also have mental illness. Chief, it's already explained to you that we have been, officers have been CIT trained. So now we have a different direction where we can place them instead of just trying to lock them up, because that's sometimes not the issue. It's called community engagement, and in that engagement, we have to find different solutions. So we do have some ways.
So where should we send them?
They still engage in some of the empty houses, and they still.
And those ones we're gonna have to lock up?
No, nothing. Yeah.
The who?
The agency that's coming to get them.
Affordable recovery.
Affordable recovery, yeah, that's what's coming out to get them.
Affordable recovery.
Yeah. So, I'm gonna ask Dr. Anderson to talk to you all in closing about an initiative that I wanted to take on when I first got here. So, I hate to keep going back to the past thing, but I worked in a district called the 11th District before. The 11th District is Harrison and Kelsey in the city of Chicago. They're known for Heron Highway, when you've heard that before, so that's where I worked there as a sergeant, I worked there as a lieutenant. And so I'm used to seeing open air drug markets. That was one, when I didn't see that in Harvey, that was one of the more attractive things for me, because I didn't see it. I'm not saying drug dealing don't happen here, but what I am saying, when I didn't see that, I said, I can do this. Anything else, I can handle everything else. That there is a bigger bear, you know, to fight with when you have an open air drug market where they're just out there continuously. You take one down, as soon as he go down, the next one is waiting in line to come right back over, and it just continues 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Give me 1 second. All right, and so when I was riding through Harvey, I'm looking around, I'm looking for my open air drug market, because I know it's here, and I know I see something somewhere, but not to the level of where it's gonna drain so many resources to get. Mind you, I do see things that are happening, but I also understand that I may not be up to staff to handle certain things. And honestly, I may not have the right staff to handle certain things. I'm not absent of that fact. But one of the things that I did see when I saw the prostitution up and down 54th Street, I said, I got my initiative. This is the one that I'm gonna grab a hold of. The trafficking, absolutely. And so that was one of the ones that I wanted to do, and it was gonna be a two-pronged approach in dealing with it. One was something that I was familiar with and helped start, I won't say help start, but I was a part of the, you call prototypes of districts that dealt with deflection programs, deflection and diversion programs. And then the other one was the enforcement end of things, whereas you go after the Johns. And so that was my vision. That's what it is that I wanted to see. And then with that, of course, none of this goes anywhere. You know, no matter what I do, it goes nowhere without the support of my boss. So having him, you know, just go over with him and showing him and explaining to him what it is that I wanted to do with this, get full support of him, but, you know, from him and his administration. And so, and again, certain things don't get the energy that it needs unless you have the support of your boss. And so I'm gonna have Dr. Anderson to just go into it a little bit, because she has taken the bull by the horn. She's taken the lead in making this a reality. I'm sorry, before she goes, go ahead.
I just have one question. The new law that's going into effect January 1st with legalized marijuana, is she, and I really need you to lead us on this one, how is that going to impact us in the city of Harvey? There is a drug thing going on in our city, and when that law is passed, it's easier for marijuana to move around. Tell us what we need to do, what our aldermen need to do in order to help you to set some guidelines. Because people, I'm getting both sides. It'll be better, you know, if we don't have it publicly sold here. You know, it'd be better if we outlaw it. You know, tell me, you know,
let me let the Alderman speak because he wants to grab on that, and then I'll go into.
Actually, if everybody concerned about the marijuana issues and the situation is, what we're gonna do, we actually we should have had music already. So what we're planning on doing, we're gonna have more than one scheduled public hearing where the people be able to come in, voice their opinions, concerns, and suggestions on everything that's going on. So just because it goes into effect January 1st, it doesn't mean we have businesses that already have a shop ready to start opening and start distributing and how it's going to be done and everything. So this is a really big issue, but we're not forced with the deadline when we have to do anything. And one thing that we're going to make sure that we definitely do, I'm estimating at least 4, maybe 5 public hearings on this issue because this is real serious, right? Real serious. It's not going to be no one meeting. And everybody decide it's gonna be consecutive meetings, and we should be having one coming up shortly right before the holiday for the very first one to get the issue and everything, get that resolved. So,
okay. I want to hear from the city administrator real quick, and then I'm gonna get to you. Then I'm gonna respond. Okay.
Well, yeah. When it comes to the recreational marijuana, that is going to be handled through the zoning procedure. There's going to have to be a decision made, and the feedback from the community about whether or not you want to have recreational marijuana in town, if you want it to be sold in town. People are going to start smoking legally come January 1. So there's nothing at all that we're going to be able to do about that. Of course, there are some stipulations about when and where, or not when, but where you are able to partake. But the decision is really going to be about whether or not the city wants to have that in town. And so, of course, there is a public safety component that is going to have to be weighed within that discussion. And so these public hearings that you're going to get notice about, but primarily is going to happen in a zoning capacity if there is a decision to opt in or opt out. So that's the short of it right now. But those conversations, we're already having those conversations with Corporation Council, and the aldermen, they've had one committee meeting about this as well. So
isn't there one medical dispensary in Harvey?
There is not. There is one in Posey.
Oh, that one, that's over there by the...
Yeah, there is no, and so with the law, those medical dispensaries are able to, they already have licenses to be able to sell recreational, but we don't have any of that in town yet.
So let me just say this real
Will
quick.
it be
and then I'm
legal for
gonna
them
go
to
to
be out
this,
on the street smoking it though? Because I hear that even though it's legal, it's gonna be some areas where you can't even stand outside.
Can't smoke in public.
That's
Yeah,
correct.
in the public. So
So
is it in Harvey too?
Okay, that's the answer. I'm gonna let you get back over here because I want to close out, but like, as I wanted to say, I need everybody's attention just a couple more minutes because I'm gonna respond to this. So I have been tasked by the city administrator as well through the mayor's office to come up with a report on how it's going to impact law enforcement. We know right off the bat it is an issue. It's an issue because we have to respond to folks. That's going to be, that's going to involve domestic disputes. That's going to be on the streets, and it's just going to really task the officers in their response to an individual who's incapacitated, through marijuana. So we have to. There are training issues that go into, that comes into play as well. So there's a number of things that has to be weighed, and there's a lot of things that's going to be in my report in dealing with that. And so I will be involved in all of these meetings as we move forward, as discussions move on that, as far as which direction the city of Harvey is going to take. So sorry.
Thank you, Chief.
Welcome.
So this will be really quick. So as the chief mentioned, what he and the mayor are working on is a deflection program for those that are trafficked within the city limits of Harvey and those that engage in the commercial sex industry. So if you'll notice, I'm using the words commercial sex industry because the words prostitution and things like that that are meant to degrade women are sort of moving forward. So you'll hear that a lot. But as Chief mentioned, it is prostitution, which is, you'll see a lot in the ordinances. So as we're moving forward, one of the things that we did was there was a scholarship that we applied for, and we were granted to go to meet with the police treatment and community collaborative. And what it is a group of organizations, law enforcement organizations and behavioral health organizations that get together and they help community members that are either being trafficked, that are working in the sex industry, and that are suffering from drug and substance abuse and mental health and mental illnesses. So the program that the chief and the mayor are rolling out is a program that we're going to start deflecting them away from the criminal justice system, that's where the word deflection comes from, and we're going to intercept them. So when police officers meet with them, the idea here is to provide them with social services instead of locking them up, because what we'll see is that almost 2 times the people that are arrested for sex crimes are women, and at the time they do not have jobs. And so what we're seeing is that we're putting them into a cycle of the criminal justice cycle to continue to move in that space. And so what we're doing is trying to help them with social services, help them with mental illnesses, and help them with the economic portion of the things that they're dealing with. And so as a community, we'll need to help respond to this and not criminalize their behavior, but further bring it up to the surface so that we can help them. So this is one of the programs that you will see that will be rolling out. So with your support and blessings.
Where else is it being done?
The other thing is that we applied to the Department of Justice, Bureau of Justice Assistance, to have people come out from all over the country to help Harvey. They are interested in Harvey because we are the first city in the country that has decided to take a look at people that are in the sex industry that are suffering from mental health issues, that are being trafficked, and also suffering from substance abuse, and deciding to deflect them away from the criminal justice system. So we have already risen to the national stage, and we have a call. Myself and the chief have a call with the Department of Justice next week. And it's important to note that the mayor has met with us 3 times. The mayor traveled with us to Florida. He was the only elected official that was there from across the country that helped us write a plan to tackle this. So he is 100% invested.
All right.
Again, thank you all for coming out. I guess on behalf of the mayor, he's gone now, so I'm gonna say thank you all again, and please get involved with what it is that we're trying, what we're doing here. And again, that monthly meeting, as I was talking to the city administrator, is probably going to look. I got one final thing to say. I was asking you, when I first started out, I did tell you I was going to be doing a monthly meeting. And this meeting can go a little long sometimes, and so while a part of this will be included in the mayor's community solutions meeting, Detective Baptiste and city administrator just reminded me of something that was been done before, or in other areas, coffee with a cop or something like that, CAPS meetings, beat meetings, things like that. And so you all should be expecting it to be in that form as well, monthly, all right? Okay, thank you all.